Hey everyone, this is DJ Shortlist, this is Champion Stock, and this is a character of mine called The Feels, who is an empathic healer who uses a little bit of darkness and stuff to basically heal people around him, and he's great for solo and stuff. Anyway, the idea isn't completely mine. I was inspired by an interview that Trevor Noah had with Cliff the Method Man Smith, and they were talking about the Marvel method, and they came up with this idea of a character who, when he's in the hospital, he basically gets in an accident and has this ability to project empathy and stuff. And so I kind of borrowed their idea, but mine's a kid character instead of an adult, and instead of being an anti-hero, this guy's going to be a regular hero's going to do right. Okay, so obviously, if we're going to have like an empathic character in this video game, some things we just sort of have to kind of go along with, or just we have to say it's like obviously we're going to be using some telepathy powers, and I kind of like to think of it as when he's doing the mind drain on a villain, maybe he is like sharing all the pain that the community or other people have felt, and it's like, oh, feel our pain, and that some sort of helps to heal or some other crazy thing that works in this video game and such. But anyway, so this is a recovery hero using the mind drain power. I believe that is a unlock that you have to get from the recognition vendor, and then also using Harbinger, as well as the form from, well, here it is, fear consumption from darkness, to sort of augment that, and then of course, for I don't know, story canon or whatever, when he causes people to feel fear, that's because he's like sharing the fears that other people have, or maybe magnifying their own fears so they can help understand where somebody else who is not benefiting from whatever the status quo and such, somebody who's suffering from racism or sexism or some other ism can understand that idea. And a lot of that comes from dimensional collapse. That's going to be one of your best friends for getting those extra fear ticks to trigger your fear consumption, so you get more stacks of that. And you're going to want to get the the advantage on dimensional collapse, so that it has a chance of getting more and more fear when you cast it. And that'll be rather useful, so that way you can just sort of do that every once in a while, and then go about healing or putting bubbles on people. And that's one of the things that's kind of cool, is because you're using fear consumption, it also makes your bubble stronger, your shields on other people, so you can use a lot of those. And that, of course, comes from I think it's like mindful reinforcement, comes from the telepathy powers and stuff. And you could think of that in terms of when somebody is feeling a lot of fear, intimidation, or something else that's just can be overwhelming. Maybe you can shield them from feeling those emotions, and get back into there and stuff. It's a lot of touchy feely stuff, hence the name The Feels. I wanted a name that was something I guess you could say it was kind of more modern. Every once in a while you read a story on Facebook or something that your friend shares, and it's like, oh man, that hit me in the feels, because it's like, oh, what do you do in a situation like that, or whatever the story is. And so that's why I went with this idea for this character being The Feels. Now, what's kind of cool is, even though he is a support character, because he has the mind drain, because he's got the other stuff, and it works so well together, it's not bad for soloing. It's not like you're playing, say, a celestial healer and trying to go and DPS with that, and it's you can do a pretty decent amount of damage with this build. You can also, because you're you basically, if you attack with the mind drain, or I should say, put out the void thing, and then you attack with the mind drain, you then heal yourself, and you have that. Okay, so obviously here we're using empathic healing. that was one option of, something I could put on here to basically, so I could heal other people, like say for example a tank at a cosmic that I'm not standing next to, because with the Mind Drain I have the thing on it so that everybody who's around me, or at least up to 5 people, can get heals, which is great. Like say during Cosmo, like Utilic, and that way I can heal the people who are around me during the winds, and then I can also use either the Mindful Reinforcement or the healing that can target the tank, and use that to help keep the tank alive. Assuming that we don't have like another healer who might have an easier time of doing that. Because honestly, when I'm playing this, I'd rather just go into lazy mode and just be like, I'm going to put up the void thingy there and get my stacks, and I'm just going to heal the people around me while I keep doing this damage here. And, I don't want to worry about nothing else if I don't have to. And quite frankly, it can be really, really easy to keep the people around you alive with this. It's also great, as I was alluding to earlier, it's great for keeping yourself alive. Because as soon as you attack, you're healing yourself, and if you're like the only thing fighting something, and obviously you're the one that has the threat of whatever you're fighting, you can also augment that with your Mindful Reinforcement, and boom, you put a bubble around yourself. And of course, if you build up your stacks, that can be a pretty strong bubble. I think I can get up to like 5k with this build right now in the gear that I have. Who knows what it could be later? If I get enough. I think it's recovery and such. Yeah, and something else I did on this, because I go to a lot of cosmic stuff, you'll notice that on my top bar towards the middle, I've got a Resurrect Myself. I think I got Aurora from the Ice Powers. Then I've got the Resurrection from Darkness, and then I also have what is it called? Transcendence. So you got the ultimate there for getting everybody up, and I love that one for like times when the winds are going and I know I'm going to get interrupted. Boom, I can hit this thing and resurrect everybody around me and stuff. But and right now I'm showing off like how, like, if you're just fighting one thing, you target something and then you hit Mindful Reinforcement, you're the one who gets it. Okay, and then we also have this stunning vortex thing. I don't know. Mostly I put it on there because I didn't know what else to do. And you could go in some different directions with this. You could put some stuff on there to be more of a CC'er if you wanted to have some crowd control stuff going on. But this is more about just healing everybody, or maybe the metaphor of healing the community, and so we can learn from each other and such. Yeah. All right. So I also have Conviction. And Conviction, I know a lot of people put Conviction on like just about every build. It seems like, because I can get a heal every 5 minutes and stuff. Well, if you're in a situation where you need a heal, not every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds. If you're in a situation where you need a heal every 5 seconds, maybe you need a bigger heal. I like Conviction for healers. I've probably said this before. I'll say it 1,000 times. I like it for people who have, if you're a healer, get it like rank 2, and then get the advantage on it to let you heal people around you. And then if you've got something like empathy or compassion going, it's going to magnify that heal to everybody else, which is something you don't get out of Resurgence. Resurgence is a one-time heal for yourself, and it's either 50%, 75%, or 100% of your health, and that's great for DPS and tanks. And really, that's what like most people should get, instead of like, I gotta get Conviction, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. Then again, I don't do PvP, so I understand, like, if you're doing PvP stuff, I need all the heals, Maybe I'm juggling some stuff. But really, this thing has a lot of heals, and most of the time, you're going to be healing yourself just using the Mind Drain. Now, something else, the Mind Drain, I forget what it's called next to it, but that skull thing, that attack, you put that on, and it puts dependency, I think is what it's called, on whatever it is you're fighting. And as a result of that, if you have dependency on something, you can then get more out of your heals. It like gives people around you the same amount that you're healing yourself. So again, you just hit that every once in a while, hit the black hole thing, whatever the heck that's called, get the fear on there, get the dependency on there, and then just go back to healing and lather, rinse, repeat, and keep an eye out for people who are down. And I figured the Stoic Flight was a good look for this guy. As part of, even though he's got the empathy powers and the healing, he's got a limited, I guess you could say, telekinesis with his telekinetic shield and other stuff. All right, so we're gonna do it like we normally do. Let's head out to the QWZ and see how this guy does. All right, so here we are out in the lovely Qliphothic war zone, and I'm in my favorite little valley waiting to ambush this little group of guys that are moving around. I don't know why, but I like fighting these guys specifically, as opposed to, there's someone in extend around, I can beat them too, but this is what I like. Okay, so you might notice that we started off, we're going to shield ourselves, so that way we're already ready to take a hit, and, we're making sure that we get the darkness out there, and, getting the fear, and we're getting our stacks, and the stacks are there for a couple things. Yes, we'll do a little bit more damage, but more importantly, we're going to be doing a little bit more healing while we're sucking the life while we're doing the damage, and then also having the shields that are going to be a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger. And, what's funny about this fight is, gear-wise, I'm just using Heroic, I believe, and taking down the two guys on the side is not too hard. And yeah, I might be putting up a lot of shields in the, while I'm working on taking down the first two guys, but yeah, I'm going to play to my strengths. We're going to do that, we're going to do it, we're going to take it down, and we almost got the first guy down. We're getting hit by rocks, we're blocking, we're putting up stuff, and boom, first guy's done. Alright, so moving on to the next guy. We're doing our things, we're getting smacked around. We're, trying to get, some healing on us. We're draining that life. We're mind draining, I guess. I guess as far as, character-wise, the idea, it's like, I'll show you what it's like to beat on some little kid who's out here in the Qliphothic war zone. Although, consider my track record with kid characters going into the QWZ. I just picture that there are a whole bunch of wanted posters with Panda and Short Bus and Lil Valkyrie and stuff, and just a lot of really angry fish, because the rest of it's robots and the horse. And, this guy's gonna make a wanted poster, right? Yeah. So it's what is with these kids coming out here and doing all this stuff? That's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna smack them around. You think you can come out here? But you'll notice that, of course, just like with any of the other fights, once the two side goons are down, and it's just this guy, it's you versus his hunk of hit points and amount of the buffs that he has essentially debuff what you're doing, because if it's not single target melee, forget about it. He's got some sort of protection, so it's going to take forever to do this fight. And I do mean forever. But that's okay, because you can go the distance with this build. Because you'll notice that, for most of the fight, I've either got full health and or, a shield on me. The one thing I would want to be careful about is making sure that he doesn't have the opportunity to, take me out in one hit, which I don't think he actually can. Also, another thing that I found with this build is because you've got the mind drain and you can move around while you're doing it, if you can keep the button down, you can go around and take advantage of, say, movement and animation that they have to do. So they're not fighting, they're doing that. Now of course they're going to throw and draw you to them and all this other junk. But it gives you a little bit more playroom, not much, but as opposed to just standing still and exchanging blows and doing that constantly. Of course, the other thing is, like with any other fight in the QWZ, you want to be watching where you could possibly be knocked to. I don't want to get knocked up on top of the hills because there's lots of horrors up there. I don't want to get knocked down further down the road. I also don't want to get so far knocked away from him that he resets and goes, hey, where'd the little guy go? And then just he goes back to doing it. And I'm like, man, I just worked on that first bubble of health and now he's full. That's cheating. That's rude. Yeah. But, you know, sometimes it happens. So, you know, you just got to be careful of that stuff. But meanwhile, it's just, you know, it's a long fight. But, you know, I know some people, you know, they've like seen like, you know, maybe the other videos I've got, or they know other people who've come out here and they're like, yeah, I can go solo in the QWZ if I've got a tank with all the hit points and defense and blah 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 blah. And you know, some people don't want to do that. You know, I don't know if this necessarily helps because obviously, well, here's a build that works. It's a healer build, and it takes forever and a day. And this is just silly at this point. Round and round and round we go. What am I doing there? But, you know, maybe it'll help you tailor your build to be something that'll help you, you know, survive these kind of engagements. And, you know, one thing that just sort of a lesson learned from doing this is like, you know, if you don't have the ability to constantly be sucking life or constantly be putting up, say, an absorbing shield like with defensive combo, regeneration is amazing that, like, you know, a semi-decent amount of health, and I say semi-decent because maybe you didn't choose, you know, Constitution as one of your primary super stats, so you've only got like a little bit of extra health from, say, you know, choosing some sort of a specialization, or maybe you put some growth mods in your defensive gear, along with a little regeneration, a little defense, can be enough to survive, to mitigate the damage to the point where you can survive a little bit. Another build, and I'll eventually make a video for this one here too. You've probably seen D.Va. Who's that guy? Some guy just ran through. Hey, how you doing? All right. D.Va is my Celestial DPS. And Celestial DPS to me is one of those weird little spite projects. I don't know how else to describe it. The idea being that I am going to do this because somebody said you couldn't do it, or we know it's hard to do. And I'm doing it in such a way that D.Va can heal, and if you've been at Cosmix, you know that I've healed at Cosmix and done, you know, quite well with her there. But also to be able to DPS. But a lot of that is basically around the idea of the gear. So, like, ultimately what I would like to do is have, say, Justice gear that might, you know, I might get like the healer version of the gloves for Justice gear, or maybe just go full DPS, but, you know, then mod that with a whole bunch of ego, so that way my concentration, you know, does a lot of damage. And then also have a full set of, I think it's the Virtuous. Virtuous is the, I don't think, yeah, because Distinguishes the defense, and then Virtuous is the one that has the healing buff. And then also have that as an option for, you know, arriving at something and going, okay, I'll fine. I'm going to heal. And I realize that is like a huge, long project, you know, to basically earn enough of that gear for characters to be able to go, you know, and do two different roles and do them well. Because a lot of times I'll just be like, I got some distinguished gear, you're a tank, you're doing DPS, congratulations, there you go. And that's all you really need. Yeah. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this and just take you to the end. So give me a second here. Okay, so many minutes later, and he's dead. Alright, so yeah, the build can actually do it. It is the same fight, I guarantee you. I'm just saving you all from just that much longer of the stuff. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you, I don't know, dig the idea of the feels and maybe make, you know, some sort of healer like this for yourself. Alright, like, comment, and subscribe.